Hey, what's up, YouTube? Troy Devlin here. Thank you so much for watching. As you guys may know, I'm a Kripalu Mindful Outdoor Guide. I'm also an integrative nutrition health coach. And something that I'm very passionate about is helping people to awaken um, to some of the programming around nutrition that maybe doesn't serve them or maybe holds them back or maybe even really keeps them stuck in a place where they're unhappy. They're unhappy with how they feel. They're unhappy with how they look in the mirror. And if that's you, then I would ask that you subscribe to this channel because you're really the reason why I'm making the videos. Um, I used to be 330 pounds and really unhappy with how I looked in the mirror. Okay, so unhappy that I was embarrassed to take my shirt off. I was the kid that you would see swimming in the pool with the big giant t-shirt on. That was me. And I would tell people it was because I didn't want to get a sunburn. But the truth is, it was because I didn't like the way my body looked. And I was embarrassed about it. And I've lost over 100 pounds since then. But to be honest with you guys, I still feel uncomfortable now with my shirt off. Even as just a regular dad bod kind of looking guy, just kind of an average guy, I still feel like that fat kid. And we're talking it's been, over 20 years now. So that stuff runs deep and it hits hard. And ego is a bear to bump up against. I'm here to tell you that right now. But I'm also here to tell you that you can do it. If you're in that place where you're looking at your body and you're unhappy with what you see, then I'm happy that you came to this video right now and we're talking about it. And and I'm your biggest fan because that's probably you're probably on your way to winning the battle right there because that's bringing awareness into the situation. So, it's hard for us to really take a look at ourselves sometimes. That's what I'm trying to say because of the ego, right? Because we want to protect the self and what we think about ourselves, and I understand that, and I understand those feelings, but the ego can hold us back. And so I want you to be happy with what you see when you look in the mirror because I'm aware of the limitations it brings to your life when you're unhappy with how you look. Because if you don't want to take your shirt off to go swimming at the public swimming pool, are you going to feel comfortable getting naked in front of your partner? And how's that going to impact your relationships? And so let's think about this. If we're maybe overweight like I was, how did I fix it? And I'm not you, so I'm not going to ever tell you to do what I did. But I will share with you what worked for me. And, since then, I've really become passionate about this. And I've spoken with a lot of people. And I've helped a lot of people lose a lot of weight. And what I find is that it's usually a problem with our diet that causes us to be so unhappy with how we look. And it's either because we're eating the wrong food for us or just because we're eating way too much of it. And so one of the ways forward is number one, nutritional education. We really got to know what we're eating, right? Because certain foods impact us, like carbohydrates. You have to be educated on carbohydrates in order to be successful with your approach to what you're eating. You really got to know what it is that you're eating, and you need to be eating certain things at certain times for certain reasons. Okay, but education is really important. Also, getting comfortable with maybe eating a little bit less. Okay, and that's portion control or learning about really how much we need. You might be surprised at really how little we need. And the only way that we can know that and feel comfortable and confident in actually doing it is what? Actually doing it. So sometimes we have to cut back a little bit and we think to ourselves, maybe I'll stop eating before I'm like super full. I'll stop eating a little bit early, and see how that feels. And a lot of people get a lot of benefit from cutting back on how much they eat. A lot of times, I'm sorry to say, I'm not telling you to starve yourself, but for me, learning portion control was really beneficial. And finally, and this one is really big and it's kind of high level, and it's a mindset kind of thing, but I would just challenge you to explore your whys behind food. Understand how powerful food is. Food is powerful. It can be used to influence other people. Food can be used to have power over people, to get people to do things that you want them to do. Now, you might think that I'm crazy. I probably sound crazy. I used to work in a prison, so I've seen food be used as a way of controlling other people. But you don't have to go to a prison to see that. What about your kids, right? Or what about when you were a kid? Do you ever use food as a way of getting compliance from your kids? Or was food ever used against you to get compliance from you? I would be willing to bet that it was. And what happens is this begins to ingrain very deeply in our psychology the story behind food. And if we tend to associate certain foods with reward, right? Or if we associate withholding certain foods as punishment, then that can lead to some very destructive behaviors, because what happens then is when we are unhappy with how we look and we say, oh, I'm unhappy with how I look because I'm eating all these cupcakes, so I should cut those cupcakes out. And that's what I tell myself as the rational person. But my programming that has learned to associate cupcakes with reward is telling me, no, we eat those cupcakes as a reward for doing XYZ, because we're celebrating this. And it's like, so by me removing the cupcakes, it's almost like it's almost like it's a punishment, right? And I would as your coach, I would try to get you to not look at it that way, or we would really have to explore your beliefs behind that, because I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. I see cupcakes as things with really they have no power over me. A cupcake is a thing, and it's not good, it's not bad. It's up to me as the human. How I look at the cupcake, is really what it is. And the cupcake is something else to somebody else. But I'm not going to let it have power over me. Don't give it power over you. Okay, guys? So before I start rambling on and on about taking your power back, I just really don't want to see you giving your power to food, because it's silly. And I understand how it could happen, because it was maybe used against us when we were little, and it was ingrained in our subconscious, and now it makes it hard for us to operate as adults. But if we can identify it, then we can wrap our heads around it. And as your coach, I would wonder what it might be like to just let that go. I thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe. Appreciate it so much. See you soon.